Hey guys, it's Brian, and I'm here to give you guys the long awaited review for The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 16, A Certain Doom. So, yeah, guys, I think this was a great episode. I definitely did have a few problems with it, but overall, it was a fantastic episode. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. So, the episode starts with Father Gabriel running around, and everyone's kind of panicked. And Father Gabriel looks outside the window and sees the massive amount of walkers outside. There are thousands of walkers and whispers, and he talks with Gracie and RJ, and he tells them about how there are more than enough to fight the walkers. There's Alexandria, the Hilltop, Oceanside, the other is the Kingdom, and they make a mighty weapon like a fist. You know, because there's really, like, even though there's not a lot of them, you can say there's still more than enough. They have hope. So yeah, and here we have Daryl, Kelly, and all the others. They're trying to get back inside, and yeah, the walkers are like right outside the hospital, and Eugene, Princess, and them are trying to make it. Father Gabriel's still talking. We have Virgil at Oceanside, and we have the assassin guys saving Aaron and Alden, and we have Maggie reading the letter and finding out that a lot of people are dead. And yeah, I can't. Maggie has finally returned this episode. So here we have the walkers, and Beta is like hallucinating or something because, I mean, I don't know, Beta's got some serious demons or something because the walkers are like looking back at him and talking, and like he is just freaking out. Like, I mean, he's not freaking out. Beta is just flat out hallucinating or something. I mean, his mind is gone. It is shattered. There is no hope for Beta whatsoever. I mean, he is just lost in the head. And the walkers are going back, and they're saying like, we are the end of the world. And he's like, it is going to begin now. You know what I mean? Beta is just like crazy. He's scary, and he's all in, you know what I mean, to kill the survivors. I mean, just the amount of walkers that are outside the hospital is just absolutely crazy. We get the intro sequence, and yeah, I mean, I'm so glad it's back. And man, do I miss Rick so much. We get the intro and the title, and yeah. So after that, we have at the road, Eugene. He broke his bike, and Ezekiel tries to tell him that they have to keep going, and they're going to fix the bike. Everyone's counting on them, and Ezekiel is able to convince them, Eugene, to keep going. Meanwhile, Daryl and Carol are setting up traps, and they're talking about how Michonne, how Daryl thinks that they might not see her ever again, which is very true. And I'm really impressed with Daryl making these traps with a bunch of nails, like nail bombs from The Last of Us. So yeah, Daryl's really smart. Like, honestly, who knew that Daryl had this much ingenuity? Because, to be honest, I didn't really think he was that kind of survivor. So we have Father Gabriel telling everyone about their plan, how they're going to evacuate, but they also have to lead the walkers away. And Luke is going to be in charge of it. He says they have to get the equipment on the wagons, and people need to go outside with the herd. And we have Beatrice and Rachel talking about how they're not going to go if Lydia's there because they have trust issues, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because Oceanside is literally the only community that didn't lose anyone to the Whispers. And Negan is right there. He's the leader who killed all their men. So yeah, that's just a little bit weird. And I just like how Father Gabriel's like, that's fine, just whatever. So anyways, Daryl talks about how they're not all going to make it, but this is the only way. So very true. Yeah, Daryl's not much of a speech guy. Let's see, we have Carol going into the armory with Diane and Birdie, and we have the scene where just they talk about Negan. He attacked the hilltop. We have Lydia talking to Carol about how they don't really talk anymore, and she even says she's not looking for a real mom, or a new mom, I guess. And I'm kind of glad, because if she got adopted by Carol, then Lydia would die. We know Carol's track record. Plus that would all, yeah, I mean, just, we don't need Lydia to die too. It's like enough kids have died. The characters are putting walker guts on them, and Luke is putting walker guts on Jules, and we have Daryl giving Kelly a mask to put on. Not sure why exactly. And we have Daryl, confronting Negan about not going outside to help him. And Negan makes a very good point. He says that he's kind of a target. Beta will recognize him pretty easily. And, Daryl he doesn't really believe it or buy it. He doesn't trust Negan a whole lot. And we have the characters going outside. They're about to go outside, and we have one kind of final look with Judith and Daryl, and we have Daryl and them getting ready. I love Daryl's new outfit. We have Jerry opening the door, letting the walkers in. And yeah, I mean, this was just crazy. I mean, just imagine being in that position, just all those walkers, and the group goes outside. The characters are very nervous. Even Magna is very nervous, which I was kind of surprised. We have a Whisper about to attack and kill him, but he is shot with an arrow and he's getting eaten. And so the characters in the hospital are keeping a lookout and shooting, the Whisperers with bows from distance. We have another Whisperer dying. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Beta is starting to notice what's happening. And man, just like the amount of walkers, just imagine being in this group. We have Rachel who's about to kill another Whisperer when suddenly, they hear a bomb go in the basement. And when Judith checks it out, she sees that the Whisperers are coming from the basement into the main hospital. And yeah, I'm not sure how they got in. They never addressed that. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. They're being attacked from the inside. So, and yeah. So anyway, Father Gabriel tells Scott to get the first group out, and also he mentions Rosita. We have Negan giving Lydia Alpha's old mask, and I guess sort of telling her that it's her choice to go out there or not. We have Daryl and Kelly meeting up in the forest with the others, but Carol and Beatrice are still not back. And we have a random Whisperer who attacks Carol and Beatrice, and unfortunately she stabs Beatrice in the leg, and that results in Beatrice dying. And I'm not gonna joke around this. I mean, I couldn't even watch the scene. Like, I didn't know Beatrice, but still, she didn't deserve that. We have Carol. She's upset. She can't really go back for the equipment, but Lydia is able, to get it because she blends in with her Alpha's mask, and she gets the equipment and she goes with Carol. We have Father Gabriel, telling Daryl about, what's going on inside, and we get a quick scene with Dog, a very quick scene, just pointing that out. And yeah, so after that, the walkers start to hear music, and they're starting to turn around, and because they're hearing the music with the equipment, and Beta's starting to notice it, and he is going with the walkers. So here we have like a bunch of characters like Marco and Oscar. The group is leading the walkers away from the hospital. So their plan is starting to work, and we have a Whisperers. They're starting to break through from the basement, and they even throw a nail bomb back at them, so some guys die, but Father Gabriel's able to save Rachel. And yeah, so the Whisperers are coming, and it's nighttime now, and the group is still leading the herd away. And yeah, I mean, this was cool. So the Whisperers are using walkers as shields to get closer, and the group is in big trouble. They have no guns, and they're just outnumbered. I mean, it's just crazy. And we have Daryl and Carol killing the Whisperers one shot, and we have the death of Oscar, and I'm really not going to say much because honestly, they not only didn't develop Oscar as a character, it just didn't matter. We have a Whisperer using a hook chain thing against a tree. He's killed, but he attaches it to the wagon just before he dies, and as a result, because it's tied to the tree, it pulls the wheel off the wagon and leaving the wagon, immovable. We have the characters, they're trying to fight the Whisperers, the walkers, but the Whisperers get on top. I'm not really sure what happened to the horses, but yeah, the Whisperers destroyed the equipment, so their plan unfortunately failed. And yeah, the Whisperers, I mean, they just won that. I mean, it's crazy. Daryl says they have to think of a new plan, a way to lead the herd away, and Lydia says she wants to lead the walkers off a cliff, even if it means suicide, but Daryl doesn't like that plan. So the characters are trying to think about what they have to do now, and they decide they have to go back to the hospital and lead the herd away somehow. Father Gabriel is telling Judith about how he has to say goodbye and protect, and he tells even Judith to say, like in the Spanish version, to Rosita, "You are my soulmate," if she gets a chance. You know what I mean? So he says it in Spanish, but I don't remember what it was. But I looked it up, and Father Gabriel is telling Judith to go. And yeah, I did like this scene because I really thought Father Gabriel was going to die. I mean, seriously, I really thought we were going to get the water tower death from him, or at least some version of it. So we have Rachel and Scott. They're telling Judith that she has to hurry, and Father Gabriel is telling her she has to go. We have Father Gabriel, making his awesome stand, and he kills a Whisperer with the shotgun. And he is fighting off the Whisperers, and I gotta give him props. He is holding his own pretty well, but unfortunately they overwhelm him, and a Whisperer is about to kill him. It's about to happen, but I really thought this was the death of Father Gabriel, and then all of a sudden we get the assassin, and this was awesome. I'm just gonna call him assassin. He kills the Whisperers. He's just slicing them with the tomahawks he has, and it's just really awesome. We have one Whisperer who is sneaking behind him, but he gets shot in the back with an arrow, and some people might be like, okay, who shot him in the back now? And we see that it is Maggie. So yes, Maggie, I love this new look she has, this cowgirl look with an arrow. I mean, I just love the look. And Father Gabriel is surprised, it has been years since they've seen her, and we have the assassin. He doesn't really speak much, but it seems pretty obvious that he is loyal to Maggie. He's devoted to her, and we have Father Gabriel and Maggie, reuniting, and, they hug. So, yeah, this was a pretty cool scene. I'm so glad we finally got it. We have Aaron looking at the assassin. Not sure where Alden went. He wasn't in the scene for some reason. So after that, we get Daryl, and, the group goes back to the hospital, and they are killing Whisperers. Beta is starting to notice it. He hears, Whisperers screaming because they're being killed by the survivors, and, even Magna and, they're getting eaten by the walkers, and Beta is starting to hear him. He's hearing his own people scream, and he's starting to, I guess, panic, lose it. And then we see the awesome scene. Negan is like, hey, at Beta, and Beta charges at him. He throws, no joke, he throws a walker at Negan, and, he slams Negan into the ground, and he is about to kill him. I mean, I was so excited during the scene. I thought, I knew that Beta wasn't going to kill Negan, but I wanted to see how this fight's going to go. And we have Daryl saving Negan. I did not expect this. We have Daryl slicing Beta, totally saving Negan, and then Daryl giving Beta a present to his face. I mean, 2 knives. I was like, whoa, did Daryl just do that? That is crazy. And we have Beta pulling out the knives out of his head. I mean, just what in the world? We have Beta kind of hallucinating, or just completely losing his mind. He sees the flashbacks between him and Alpha, and just all the different things. He sees things that I guess were happening or weren't happening. I mean, a lot of this was happening, but it was just creepy and weird, and it's almost like he was enjoying this. You know what I mean? So we see that it's back, and Negan and Daryl are just looking at what's happening, and Beta, the way Beta is just smiling as the walkers surround him, probably to eat him. It's so creepy. It's so disturbing. I mean, just weird. I don't know about you guys, but this scene was weird. And Negan is like, do you know who that was? And Daryl's like, yeah, that he was no one. You know what I mean? I like that scene. So we have Carol and Lydia, leading the herd away. It's daytime, and they are leading the, thousands of walkers to the cliffside. I'm not sure where this is exactly, but this was awesome. The CGI was so well done, and this looked like a real cliff, and we have Carol, who is about to jump off in order to sacrifice herself and, lead the walkers away. But Lydia stops her. Lydia takes her arm, and, they hide under a rock, and, instead, they let the walkers fall through. And Lydia takes off her mask, which is kind of weird. I feel like that doesn't really make much sense. But this was an awesome scene. The walkers just tumbling down. It would have been cool to see them bash against the rocks. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. But yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. Just thousands of walkers falling down. We have, Lydia and Carol just I guess breaking down, but also seeing this scene. It's so amazing. I mean, it's so well done. I mean, honestly, the CGI looked fantastic. You have Lydia looking at Alpha's mask, and it's so creepy, and she just throws it over the cliff as well. And the way it's in slow motion, and it's so creepy, and the walker's falling too. I mean, just well done scene. And, Lydia and Carol are crying. They're embracing because, just a lot of things that have happened to them. I mean, it's just crazy. We have the rest of the walkers falling off the cliff, and, I mean, that's all of them. That's just crazy. The entire herd just gone, and they're even surprised by it themselves. I mean, it's crazy. They stand over the cliff, and it's just crazy. They've won. So, all right, so here we have Scott, and okay, Scott is still alive. I'm done predicting his death. I'm done trying to get him. I'm done with him, honestly. He is going to survive. He outlived the wolf. I mean, he survived the wolves. He survived the saviors, the whisperers, no way out. I mean, just everything. This guy's unkillable. So anyway, we have Nabila and her kids, or Jerry and her kids. We have Rosita, and she was very underused this episode. I don't know, that was weird. I don't know. It's still her and Father Gabriel. It still feels off to me, I suppose, as a couple, and just how she was just, not used this episode. We have Maggie talking to Alden, and we have Aaron and Gracie coming in, and this was a nice scene. It was nice to see Maggie reuniting with the characters that she knew in the past, after it's been multiple years. And we have Judith looking at Maggie too, and I was just like, wow, this was so well done. I mean, just the similarities, but just the history between Maggie and Judith, even though there's really not a whole lot between them, but you just know it. You know what I mean? Because if you are like, if you were watching the show back in the beginning, you love the scene, even if like they didn't have a whole lot of screen time together. You just love it. You know what I mean? For these characters, I mean, they hug and like it's emotional. It's well done. I mean, yeah, it is so well done. We have Daryl looking at the survivors. Lydia and Carol came back, and Luke is just amazed that they pulled this off. They've won the war with no major casualties for the most part, and the characters are hugging each other, and it's pretty nice. And you even have like Daryl. He is talking to Carol about, is she good? Like, did she get what she wanted? And she kind of says no. But they're still going to keep moving forward, and Daryl's even like, you still have me, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like a callback to the beginning of the episode. They hug, and yeah, I like that. And oh my gosh, the Easter eggs for going to New Mexico, the Carol and Daryl spinoff. There's so many, like, they're doing so many Easter eggs. Like, it's just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, we just know it's gonna happen. Anyways, we see someone's hand, and I wasn't sure whose hand this was, but then I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. It is Connie. Like, I knew it, and I was just amazed because, like, hasn't it been 2 weeks since the episode 9? Like, that's what's crazy to me. Like, it's been weeks, hasn't it? In their story, but she passes out. I mean, poor Connie, man. I mean, she's been through just a mess, and she passes out, and we see a horse. I'm not sure what horse where the horse came from, but we have Connie looking at whoever this person on the horse is, and we see that the person is none other than Virgil. And I cannot wait to see where this goes. I don't know if this is going to be like a movie or next season, but I'll see. So anyway, Eugene, Ezekiel, Yumiko, and Princess are at the train tracks where they're supposed to meet Stephanie. And Eugene is hopeful. He says that even though they missed their opportunity, they're going to keep looking for any people they can find, which I do like. And all of a sudden, we get the lights coming up loudly, and then the characters are looking worried. And we have like all the characters just looking, getting their weapons. And we see the group surrounded by over a dozen armed men in like armor. And it's just crazy. They have guns. I mean, the group is panicked. They're scared. And I mean, just these guys are not messing around. They're telling them to drop their weapons. They're surrounded. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. These guys, I mean, I cannot believe they did the scene from the comics. It is so well done. I honestly cannot wait to see what happens after the scene. I was hoping that the season would end with this scene, So anyways, the characters, all put down their weapons, and just all those soldiers looking at them, so, scary. I mean, just, man, talk about well done. I mean, it's been 4 seasons, but Eugene is now once again surrounded by a group of dangerous and heavily armed men. You know what I mean? Like, from season 6 to now season 10, like, it's happened again. Like, Eugene is surrounded by a bunch of heavily armed, dangerous men, and, like, you know what I mean? It's just probably, like, not again type of thing. And, yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens. So, all right, guys. So that's it for my review. Thank you so much for watching. But, yeah, what can I say? This was a great episode. There were a few Walker inconsistencies here and there. You know what I mean? And I feel like we should have gotten the water tower death. I also would have loved to see Herschel Jr. in the TV series this episode, but regardless, this was a fantastic episode. The reintroduction of Maggie, the death of Beta and the Whispers, I mean, super creepy. The moments with Negan and Daryl, fantastic character development, and the fantastic introduction of the Commonwealth as the cliffhanger of the season. I mean, so awesome, well done. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for my review of The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 16, A Certain Doom. Please let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.